Yo, 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 what's going on? It's the NRW, where nerds rule the world. It's your boy, Kuya P, aka Patrick Michael Strange, and I'm back with the homies with our Marvel Studios Disney Plus recaps for What If. This week we are talking about What If Episode 6, What If Killmonger rescued Tony Stark. We're going to check out the little bit of a teaser trailer right now for the particular episode, and then I'll be back with my homies Rob Medina from You're So Cool with Rob Medina, and of course the Blur Dad himself, the guy that levels us up, my man Glenn Lawrence, who needs a hug because his Eagles lost today. But anyway, we'll be back to talk about our thoughts on What If Killmonger rescued Tony Stark. Here we go.
Yeah, peace. I love peace. I'd be out of a job with peace.
Do we know each other?
Cannot be. Follow me into the multiverse of infinite possibilities, where the stories you thought you knew are nothing like you remember.
It appears we have a common enemy.
I guess I have to freestyle it. What if? Only on Disney Plus.
Boom! There you go. The trailer for What If Episode 6, What If Killmonger rescued Tony Stark. I got my brothers from other mothers on the screen right now. You see him first up, the man who's so cool from You're So Cool with Rob Medina, formerly Rob the Movie Guy. What's up, Rob?
Oh, it's good, man. This should be a really interesting review considering the consequences of the previous games that occurred, but it should be a good one.
The guy I love the most, who deserves a huge hug. Somebody's got to win. Thankfully, I had that side of the coin today. But my brother, I love him, and I do like my Eagles fly. Eagles fly. What's up to the Blurred Dad, the guy that levels us up, my man Glenn Lawrence.
Y'all know we don't have to talk about any of this. Like, we could just go into the review. This is so unnecessary.
I love you, bro. I love you. I know.
So unnecessary.
It's so yeah. It's unprofessional, is what it is. It's very unprofessional. I shouldn't have done that. So my apologies to the audience. My apologies to Glenn Lawrence that is on the screen right now. That is my brother from another mother. So I should put that personal shit to the side. Keep it professional. It's all about What If. Let's get into it. Glenn, break it down for the story behind What If Killmonger rescued Tony Stark.
All right. Well, NFL disappointment aside, we will talk about the what ifs of the Marvel universe. And this episode was great because it brought up something that we were talking about in our previous review of the what ifs. What if Killmonger rescued Tony Stark? And this episode is all about the cunningness and the precision of Killmonger in enacting one of the greatest, I guess, schemes ever to get back into Wakanda, get back into the good graces of Wakanda. So basically, this episode centers around, starts out the same way Iron Man started out, where Tony Stark is showing off the Jericho weapons to the military. He gets ambushed in the Kundar province, I believe, in Afghanistan, and basically he gets overrun. But instead of being captured, a CIA agent, operative named Killmonger, intercepts the message about his impending kidnapping attempt, and he comes through, takes all the bad guys out with precision, and rescues Tony Stark, which in turn makes Tony Stark, make him the head of security, taking away the job from Happy. You get to see the schisms that it causes between Pepper Potts as well as Happy. And you got to remember, during this episode, Tony is at a different place mentally. He hasn't gone through the entire arc that he had with, all the Iron Man movies, with the Avenger movies, with Civil War, with Infinity War, even with Spider-Man. You know what I mean? I feel like with Spider-Man Homecoming and whatnot, it made Tony a little bit softer. It changed him a little bit and helped him become a different person. So we don't get all that. We get the brash, flamboyant Tony from this. And when he meets up with Killmonger, it's like, oh, cool. I got my down homie now to help protect me. And, he's my mouthpiece and all that. So we get to see Tony bring him into the fold after being rescued. And because of that, there's a big homecoming event where Tony is like proclaiming him the new head of security. But it's interesting because at this moment is when Killmonger kind of jumps in front of the microphone and says, yeah, but the reason you almost got captured is because your boy Obadiah Stane set you up. And it's funny because you get to see Obadiah Stane kind of in the same way that he did in the Iron Man movies, in the first Iron Man movie, say, hey, hold on, Tony, let's turn off the microphones. And like he was doing like kind of those same mannerisms, but this time he's getting called out by Killmonger, who brings up all the evidence. Obadiah Stane gets taken away. And then the big question is, well, what happens with the Iron Man suits? How do they, come into play since Tony never was captured? He never had to make the Mach 1 suit and all that type of stuff. And we get a cool answer where him and Killmonger are talking, and Killmonger's like, I'm really into Gundam. And he's like, well, let's build some Gundams. I love you, bro. Let's make what you want. So he makes those robots. During this, they have to figure out a power source. Killmonger has an answer to that too. It's vibranium, which he happens to have a little bit of from the ring from his father. So they make the drones use that power source. They go over to get more vibranium so they can make more drones. That gives us the scene from Age of Ultron where they're taking on Ulysses Claw, but instead of Ultron, it's Killmonger there. He ambushes them. He also tips off the Wakandans so that Black Panther shows up, but he uses his tactics to take out Black Panther unsurprisingly, which when I saw it, I was like, wait, did he really just kill it? Like, because he hit him with the little the sonic incapacitator, but then he shot him with another energy bolt, and I was like, wait, is that dead? Like, did he just knock him out, or is he dead? And it's like, nope, he is dead. So we get to see that. It's really, really cool. Tony pieces it all together with the help of Jarvis, getting echolocation and figuring out what's happened. He gets one of the drones to try to kill Killmonger, but Killmonger's a beast and takes out the drone. And then in another shocking moment, Killmonger takes out Tony. So at this point, Killmonger has killed Black Panther. And I forgot, Rhodey was there at the deal. He kills Rhodey, and then he kills Tony, and you're just like, wow, the dude is legit right now. And with that kill, he also kills Ulysses Claw, kind of similar to what happened in the Black Panther movies. He brings him over to Wakanda. They welcome into the fold because he has a lineage, King T'Chaka, who's still alive because the events of Civil War have not happened because Baron Zemo was never created, to kill the Avengers and whatnot. So all these things kind of coalesce to the point where Killmonger is now in Wakanda. He's been taken into the good graces. They're all distraught because T'Challa has died. Unbeknownst to them, it was at the hands of Killmonger. Shuri has some suspicions, but she doesn't know for sure. But he gets into the fold and he says, during this period, he also frames Rhodey to make it look like he killed Black Panther, which sets off a war between the Americans and the Wakandans and the General, what's his face? General Ross. General Ross is now he's headhunting for the Wakandans, and he wants to bring out the drones to kill them all. So they do that. Killmonger sets up a really interesting scenario where he programs the droids to not be as powerful as they could be, and he depowers them all, but then powers them on inside the city to make sure that he looks like he's saving the day. We also get to see a great scene of Queen Ramona taking out all these robots because she was trained with the Dora Milaje when she was young. So we don't forget Angela Bassett. I don't know, you might have seen our little tweet. Auntie came through and was kicking butt of the droids during this uprising when America was coming to fight the Wakandans. Killmonger looks to save the day, which ingratiates him more. into the fold in Wakanda, but Shuri doesn't trust him. And the final scene we get to see Shuri go to Pepper Potts and be like, nah, this doesn't seem right. I have proof that here's what's happened. And Pepper, has her own proof. So the last thing that we see is Pepper and Shuri getting together, hopefully to take down Iron Man, or I'm sorry, to Killmonger in this episode. And I saved the best part for last, because last time we were talking and Kuya P was all up in arms because I said Killmonger could take on the Black Panther mantle. He said it would never happen. No! And he was upset. He was yelling at us. He yelled at me and Rob. Me and Rob consoled each other. We had tears in our eyes.
You're still wrong. But I'm not going to advance it until we get to the review portion. I'm going to let it stay right there because of what happened earlier today. But we'll continue this when we get to the review portion.
But I feel like with that's kind of a rounding out of what happened in the episode. Great episode. Really, really loved it. Rob, take us through the characters, all those character moments that I kind of just glossed over.
All right, so you pretty much covered a good portion of the characters, but so we've got Michael B. Jordan back as Killmonger, who we all expected would be the case here, and of course we got Jon Favreau back as Happy Hogan. Chadwick Boseman, again, this is the one that I was actually the most surprised at this season so far with regards to him actually being a key figure in this What If universe, where he's actually featured in almost every other episode, which is kind of unique and interesting because I honestly thought the Star-Lord episode would be like the one time I guess involvement with him. But the other one I was really surprised to have that we saw was Angela Bassett, as you mentioned before, as Queen Ramonda. She was that was a pretty badass scene, I thought. And then we also got what's her name? Denai Guerra. Denai Guerra, thank you. Who's back as Okoye. Mm-hmm. Andy Serkis back as Ulysses S. Claw, or Ulysses Claw, I think I pronounce his last name, if I'm not mistaken. Don Cheadle as Rhodey, which we all know in the original Iron Man. He wasn't Rhodey. It was actually Terrence Howard, but we don't know how that one worked out. Paul Bettany as Jarvis is back, and we also got Leslie Bibb, who's back as Christine Everhart, the reporter from the first Iron Man movie. And then to my genuine surprise, we've got Mr. John Connie as T'Chaka, who is T'Challa's father. But then as far as all the other characters are concerned, we've got, we have Tony Stark back, who's not voiced by Robert Downey Jr., but instead this time around he's voiced by Mick Wingert, who is actually the voice of Tony Stark in the Avengers December television series in the cartoon show. And then we also have Kif Vanden Hurel, I think I pronounce his name. If I messed it up, I apologize, sir. But he voices Obadiah Stane, who was originally played by Jeff Bridges in the first Iron Man film. And he's voiced a bunch of other characters that I wasn't really too familiar with as far as TV shows, those cartoon shows or video games are concerned. But he's also an actor who appeared on Parks and Recreation. And then the actress by the name of Beth Hoyt is the actress playing the part of Pepper Potts in there. And she's been on several different TV shows like Better Call Saul, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Mm-hmm. And then we also have an actor by the name of Michael Patrick McGill, who's playing General Ross, who's also an actor who's appeared on like Bosch, I think you pronounce the Amazon show, and Bosch, Shameless, and a few other films as well too. So a lot of the familiar actors we were seeing in the original Marvel universe films are no longer back here in this universe, if you will. So we've got some other actors who are taking in their place, and they actually sound pretty legit. Like they actually did sound like their real life counterparts to it, which I thought was interesting. But yeah, I think for me, when it came to the characters, like the one I was really genuinely surprised with is with Chadwick Boseman, because this one was a kind of I'm going to be honest right now, because I know we're going to get into the review now, and I'm not sure what order we're going to be doing positive and negatives, but this is the one episode I was actually disappointed with how they used the character. I understand why they used the character this way, because we had to focus on Killmonger, but the fact that he was we have T'Challa in the episode and he was like pretty much killed off the moment he walked in. I was a little let down with that because I wanted more out of him. I actually wanted to be more involved with the story, but like I said, I understood the direction they're going with that story. But and then of course when we get to the end, it makes more sense when you see him have that one-on-one conversation he had in like the spirit world, if you will. So that sort of kind of made up for that in my opinion. But yeah, I think I was just so we're gonna get into this here now, and I'm gonna bring it up right now. I don't think Killmonger will be good as Black Panther now anymore after I saw this episode. And it's going to sound really stupid. It's going to sound really trivial, but whatever. When he said Wakanda forever, the way he said that, I was like, bro, that was weak. Because when Chadwick Boseman said it, that man had power. Like that dude had like that leadership in him.
Like what kind of
Killmonger? Yeah, he said it like, I'm like, man, I felt it. But when Michael B. Jordan said, he's like, Wakanda forever. I was like, what the fuck is that shit? And he did it twice, and I was like, dude, you fucked up. Sorry, dude. So I'm sorry, Glenn. I take back what I said earlier from the previous review, but
I feel so vindicated. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's only by default though, because he was whacking saying Wakanda forever. If he had that power and that leadership that T'Challa had, or I'm sorry, that Chadwick Boseman had with him saying that, it's really trivial. Honestly, it's a trivial thing, but that matters, man, to me. You know, you got to have that sense of power that you could really offer a real leadership. And because he was so conniving and it worked, something about his deliverance didn't really do it for me. And I'm like, yeah, I can't see that anymore now. It's really stupid. I know it's really trivial, but maybe I'm just too picky in this situation. But yeah, I changed my mind. I'm with you on this one, Patrick. So
I didn't pay him, y'all. I didn't pay him. But
No,
before
you
you go, Glenn, can I go?
Yeah, go.
All right.
Glenn's like, man, fuck this shit.
I can't believe both.
Yo, I love you, Glenn.
Some
I love you, brother.
turncoats. Turncoats, I tell you.
All right, y'all. So this was my favorite episode of the What Ifs thus far. I gotta tell you, they killed it. This is exactly why I love the What If comic books. Like I said, where they go dark. It's shit that you wouldn't expect that they would do in the regular comic, but they do it in the What If comics. So you could like see if these things how it would turn and how it really would turn. And I think they're doing a fantastic job. So this episode by far was my favorite. I loved the intersection of the Black Panther mythos that we saw from the MCU with the Tony Stark Iron Man stuff. They melded that perfectly for me. I really enjoyed that. And to the point of our previous conversations and / battle between me and Glenn with, you know, could Black Panther be could Killmonger be Black Panther? I think this illustrates why he cannot be Black Panther. He was raised in the States. He got corrupted and assimilated into very Western ideals and colonized mindset. You know what I'm saying? He, to me, again, why he could not be Black Panther and why Wakanda even sees that he cannot be Black Panther is because of just how he was raised and where he's at with himself as a person, as a human being. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's why you would never give this man the mantle. And that's why I sort of feel vindicated with in respects to Rob. I don't know if it's probably for the same ideals or the way he's seeing it, but for myself, that's what I feel vindicated per this episode, because just like, I think he's a man without a country. You know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate that he wasn't raised in Wakanda, or else then if he was, then yes, I think he would be ideal to take over and be, because he's part of the family, he's part of the bloodline, but because he has so much loss and life and existence that was outside of Wakanda, that's corrupted his mindset, that he's developed this bigger, you know, like we know, if you're a student of American history or a student of history, you know, it's always been the person with the bigger stick that is the ruler. You know what I'm saying? So he's developed this very American mindset that, you know, he's crushed all his enemies outside in the real world, which was, you know, he killed Iron Man, he killed all these people. He made his way up the ranks. He knows how to utilize a system for his own advantage, which makes him a bad person. You know what I'm saying? And here he has these people that were willing to give him a life, and then again he took advantage of that. So yes, he became quote unquote well, for you, to me, he was never Black Panther in this episode, Glenn. He was an overtaker. You know what I'm saying? He was a colonizer by coming in, taking his own personality and ideals to make Wakanda his own. He became a colonizer within himself as a character because of everything that has happened to him, understandably because of everything that happened to him. But you know what I'm saying? That doesn't make it right. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel vindicated in regards to like this whole, you know, him being the Black Panther. It's a certain person, if you born and raised in Wakanda, that has a certain ideals. You know what I'm saying? To me, I think Wakanda is like a fascinating is a place in a people that I think are the ideal, it's the standard, the ideal to look up to, the perfect, you know what I'm saying? And I would never want to have a person of that kind of mindset that has been diluted and from everything that he's experienced in his life to be brought up into that mantle. You know what I'm saying? So yeah,
I'm gonna kind of tag on a bit with. I see where you're going with it, and I do agree with it to a point. But it's just for me, what I started to realize is that this is just I don't know how it's gonna come off, but I'll just say it. I don't know Michael B. Jordan as an actor. He's really really good at what he does, and I think he's really good at delivering like the emotional beats that's required for this character. But when it comes off as a leader or someone who's trying to portray himself as a leader, you know, for the character of Killmonger that I think could do, I don't think I just don't see that in him, just in pulling that off. I think he's too deceptive, and that's part of the character's traits now, that for him to step out of that, it just seems like it doesn't seem to fit very well with him being able to pull it off, because I think Michael B. Jordan is a very capable actor, but I don't see that presence as far as like Chadwick is. I never thought of Chadwick as being a potential candidate for Black Panther until I saw the part when we got introduced to him in Civil War, and when you saw him as a part of Black Panther as T'Challa, I believe right away that guy is Black Panther. That guy is able to lead a country. He's able to lead a nation because he had that presence about him, and he delivered it very flawlessly. Michael B. Jordan, you know, if they were to change that character into more of like a baby face, you know, it could work, but something about it just wouldn't translate that well for me, because I don't see Michael B. Jordan delivering that same command performance the way that Chadwick Boseman would deliver it. Oh, you know, it sounds really trivial when I said about him saying Wakanda forever. I was kind of joking, but when I heard him say, you know, Wakanda forever, I was like, man, dude, it's not going to work. So it's a little trivial things for me, but I think for me, it's just more about how he is. I don't know. I don't see him as a leadership in a leadership role that would carry the same weight as Chadwick did. I think Chadwick was really good, and to be honest with you, far superior in that. And Michael B. Jordan, I don't think could carry that as well as Chadwick. I think you have to have a stronger actor who can really perform that aspect of the character of T'Challa in Black Panther to really make you believe in that. And I don't think B. Jordan has that
Rob,
presence about him.
Well, here's my take on it so that I can combat
go ahead
this slander that I'm hearing.
Slander.
And I'll tell
before
you
you go in real quick, Glenn, can I just say to Rob's point, I think just that quick remark that what you're seeing is just like a character trait. I don't think he was meaning to say it in a
like it's
commanding
purposeful
point. You know what I'm saying? In his voice, because we all know how the character was portrayed throughout this episode. He's the villain. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So obviously, it's an underhanded Wakanda forever when he makes that.
Yeah, it was just I'm taking stabs at it as a joke, but at the same time, when I heard it, I was like, man, but when Chadwick said it, like it was like, holy shit, like you can feel that.
I think that's the point.
Of course.
Yeah, I think that was like a choice. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like an acting choice. Like you know, he's not really saying it for. But I'll say this, and I think this proves me right, Kuya P. This was your favorite episode of What If, correct?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But and all I was
because the character was on point.
But listen, Killmonger taking on Black Panther is an engaging story, and it was great. It was fun.
I agree.
You had it.
I never said anything against that.
Now, here's the thing: in terms of him becoming like long term taking over for Black Panther, perhaps maybe if there's some type of character arc. But in terms of like the story, seeing him take up the mantle, it's like, you know, there's a lot of dread in there. It makes for a good story. It's very engaging. That was my point. I was like, they could do that, like a movie. Like, see, I
never said it would be a bad story, but just the mantle of, you know. You know what I'm saying? Do you feel what in regards to like what I was saying, going up in and out?
My point is this: seeing that as the movie, seeing that as the plot, seeing that play out would be really entertaining, and it'd be really like good. Now, what happens at the end? Who ends up being Black Panther for the Wakandans? That all plays out. But seeing Black Panther, seeing Killmonger as basically that transitional Black Panther, like taking it over or whatever, you know, for the time being until like Shuri takes it back from her or somebody else comes into the fold, they recast it. I think is dope. I think that would be a dope idea. And the reason why is because you loved it when it happened. Like, you saw it happen and you loved this Love the show. Now, now,
It had
bringing it
nothing to
back,
do with
like,
the
who's gonna
title and
take
the
it long
mantle.
time?
That had
Wait,
nothing to
but
do with the
now
mantle.
bringing it back. Who's going to take it long time and hold the mantle? That's a different thing. That's a continuation of what's going to happen. But for a brief moment in time, seeing him do it, I think that would have been dope. That was my point. That's what I was saying. And then to Rob's point, hearing Michael B. Jordan say the Wakanda Forever and not really having his heart into it, I think Michael B. Jordan's a good enough actor to actually. It wasn't an accident. You know what I mean? Like it was a choice to say it in a way that's like Takuya P's point, very colonizerish. You know.
Interesting point. Yeah, I like that.
So again, mantle semantics. There's semantics here that's missing. So I'm curious what you think. What I said, Glenn, in regards to the outside of our own thoughts with the film wise, but like how this story was portrayed with Killmonger.
Oh, I agree with everything you said or whatever.
Okay,
but I think my point, I think we're missing because I think my point was solely that the story would be great. Like it's a great story to tell. Killmonger ended up taking the thing and the continuation. But I agree with everything that you said, like the colonizer mindset coming in, bringing those traits, and it's really an amazing character arc to see the colonized become the colonizer. Like I think that part, I'm all on.
It fucks with me, dude. It was on some real shit. Did you? I connect with this hard. That's why I love this episode.
Very much, especially, and then infiltrating with the robots and everything, and coming in. I thought it was kind of. This is not the first episode, but this was the episode where I felt the most of like, fuck, like what, like why end it? Like make this an hour. Like what happens next?
I felt the same way too.
Yeah.
And it was heartbreaking for me that we knew he was gonna twist, but then there's half a moment that I'm like, please don't turn them back on. You know what I'm saying? So like. You have your people, you know what I'm saying? Because like at the end of Black Panther, we like, dude, we want you to come to the bright side, stop being, but his heart's so cold because of what he lived through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I fucking love this stuff. And just the way, because we don't get to tell our stories as POCs like this. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a big problem as POCs, and we've discussed this in regards to our race. Well, when we had talked about race, I talk about it in a lot of different shows. So I'm sorry if I'm getting confused, but like there's very Christian conservative Trump Filipinos. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And we have to. And battling our own people when you know that they don't have our real thoughts in mind, but our people have assimilated so much into this culture. It's just it's a assimilation story that I've never really seen, or we haven't received that much. And I think they portrayed it in such an amazing way. Yeah. But so that it also makes it heartbreaking, because like, Killmonger's us, man, in a way, or as Americans. And then, if you go back to, man, I think there's just layers to it if you really break it down, that, which to me is why it's such an amazing episode.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I went on tangent, guys, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love the art of this. It looked, it was amazing.
I appreciate it in this episode too.
Yeah, I love how they brought everything back. I thought it was, I thought it was done incredibly well. It was my favorite by far. It left me wanting more, and when I watched it, I felt vindicated. But I could see how you also watched it, Kuya P, and then you felt vindicated. I don't see how Rob became a turncoat. I don't see. How you switched up on me, Rob. I don't see that.
Semantics,
and I didn't pay him. I'm surprised as you. I'm surprised as you, Glenn. But
I see mine's more trivial though. It's like there's really no like deep connection that I have with the character, or like at least the understanding of the character like KP does, where he understands the history. Like I come from a very trivial standpoint where I'm like, I didn't like the way you said it as well as, because you could have said it as well as Chadwick. And that's where it started from. But then when I started thinking about, well, Michael B. Jordan is really good at these things, but I don't see him as good as these other things that, say, Chadwick Boseman would be able to deliver very effectively, where I think B. Jordan needed to. I just don't know if he can pull it off as well, or even close to that. So it comes from that standpoint, but it's just trivial. I don't really have any. I'm kind of poking fun at it, to be completely honest, but it's nothing that I really gave too much thought into. I just thought it sounded kind of whack, and I was like, this is ridiculous. This is the guy who wants to be the king. That's all it really was.
I got a question. What do you think of how everybody got murked? And do you think did you think that was believable for you that Killmonger would have gotten him? Man, how many bodies he put down? He put down Panther. He put down Rhodes, bro. And I have thought during that scene with Queen Ramonda when she was battling, I was like, oh, tell me he's not going to try and have her accidentally killed, or you know what I'm saying? With all the rigmarole going on, like, no, don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I felt because, we know he's an evil presence in there now. Like, why not? Start taking them out one by one.
The way that I was thinking about it, because when I saw Black Panther, I loved the film. And I know a lot of people have problems with it as a superhero movie. And my personal thought was it was missing one scene. And the one scene that it was missing was a Killmonger badass scene where you get to see Killmonger go off like he did in this and like take out a bunch of people. You know what I mean? Because I feel like that was the one scene that we were missing, that where it just felt a little bit empty, because it's like, okay, Killmonger's a badass, but we never got to see the Killmonger badass. The one thing that we got was when the CIA dude was explaining how good Killmonger is. So they did a tell not show, and that was the one thing I thought in Black Panther that could have been better, is if we got that scene. In this, we got that scene. We got to see how badass Killmonger is, how he could take out the robots, how he took out the robot that Tony had after him. All that type of stuff. So I thought that was dope. I love the fact that this is going against what Rob was saying, how Black Panther came out and he gets immediately murked. That's the only way that Killmonger is going to get him, because Black Panther is one of the best fighters in the MCU. So if he doesn't like get the drop on him and kill him immediately, then Black Panther would win. You know what I mean? Like he would get him. He would take him out. So I thought that was the only way to do it and make it believable.
I have to completely agree with Glenn on that one. But
I think I'm just coming from like a biased standpoint, like because Chad was so good, and I'm like, that's really what it is for me. But I agree with you 100%. I'm not against that notion at all whatsoever.
And to your point though, which I think, like you said earlier, Rob, what made it up for you, so like with Glenn, I agree, he had to get instantly murked. But as a fan wanting to hear Chadwick a little bit more, I'm happy that later on, and it made sense for his appearance back when he's in the ancestral plane and he's talking, and that's again, it coincided with what we know from Iron Man and Black Panther, and then certain beats from Black Panther that they continued on, like with the ancestral plane. Another one when Killmonger kills Claw to come back in again, which was a beat from the original Black Panther. But this time it was in a different way. But we're familiar with that, so that taking certain tropes from the previous films was just like money. You know what I'm saying?
Did you guys like? My favorite part was when he was talking to Tony Stark, and he was like, "The difference between me and you is you can't see the difference between me and you." That's favorite
line
quote,
of the fucking episode, best line.
That was a good line, I'm not gonna deny that Michael B. Jordan isn't good. He's really good. Like as a character of Killmonger, like that guy is solid. Showing like that screw loose of a personality that he has here, but he's really analytical, very tactical, and he knows. And I'm sure, like with him not killing T'Challa's mother in the battlefield, like I'm pretty sure he saw her as like, holy shit, she's a good asset to have. Like I'm pretty sure, like you don't actually see him think that, but I'm thinking to myself that he's probably analyzing and looking at the situation, like keep her, and keep all these people around, because I need them to get them on my side. If I can get them on my side, then I have everything else covered for me in areas that I need to focus on. And so there's a part of me that's where he's really doing all the things that is necessary on trying to earn people's respect in areas that really counts the most. And I think he did a really good job in showcasing that here. But yeah, I don't know if this is actually my favorite episode, but it definitely is one of the top ones for me. I still think my favorite one may have to be the I don't know. I think I like the Star-Lord one the best for something. Really? So that episode really like got to me the most, because it was the one that really kind of changed my perception about what the show was going to be like. Not that I didn't know what it was to be like before, but something about it, T'Challa being in that world and seeing a different side of the character, and him being as charming as he was in the Black Panther film and all the other movies as well. but you're seeing a different side of how he still has the same impact wherever he goes. Like that was like what to me what showed why Chadwick and him portraying a Black Panther had that effect, and had a really positive effect wherever he went. So something about that really like appealed to me the most. In this episode, like I said, I was a little disappointed that we didn't get to see a lot of him, but when we didn't, and then we did at the end, it made sense. It fit well for the story because the focus really was on Killmonger, not on T'Challa. Right. So that was understandable. But I don't have anything really bad to say other than all the bullshit that I was saying before. But outside of that, it's a solid episode, in my opinion.
All right, Glenn, what's your final thoughts, bro? Before we get up,
final thoughts on the episode. Amazing episode. Really. It hyped it up, and then I got more hype finding out that there's 9 more episodes or 10 more episodes or whatever it is left. There's like a bunch of these left. I got really excited. I was like, oh, it just keeps getting better and better. So I was really happy with it. I thought it played out well. I felt vindicated until I heard Kuyapi explain his thing, and then I figured out we're basically saying the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. In a way.
Yeah. I mean, I like in a way we're like saying the same thing for the most part. Your stance is never could Killmonger become the Black Panther. I was just saying within the course of the story.
Yeah, I see that point. And I'm with you.
It would be interesting. It would be great. It would be fun to watch. Yeah. And we got to see that. It was fun to watch. I love seeing Queen Ramonda become or get to fight a little bit. Although at first I was like, wait, they're gonna have the Queen fight? What? But I guess she was feeling froggy. She's like, I gotta
right
get out there. So because she didn't fight in the battle for Wakanda against Thanos. She wasn't out there then.
No.
Right.
You know what I mean? She was tucked away then. But
Angela
no, this
Bassett. It's a beautiful woman.
This is all great. It was good to see. Great stuff. I can't wait to see what they do next. Yeah. Definitely my favorite episode. And I wanted to see what happened with Shuri and Pepper Potts, how they, because it's almost like now you have Shuri in control of all like Stark tech or whatever, plus having the Wakandan knowledge, probably got some vibranium out, you know what I'm saying, to make something dope. Like I just think it would be a really interesting thing. And because the one thing that I was thinking was they're supposed to have like the team up where a lot of the characters from this multiverse team up. Like a lot of the characters that we've seen, I think, team up towards the end. And so it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. And I hope we get the Pepper and Shuri from this season with the little Queen Ramonda, and they're fighting too in the season finale or the end or whenever they all team up and do their thing.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So yeah, for me, again, like my brother Glenn, favorite episode thus far. And if there's an episode that I want to see come back and continue to tell more of this particular story, it would be this one. Outstanding. Enjoyed it, man. Can't wait for more, man. This was a lot of fun. Again, I love you, Glenn. We may butt heads, but we're still brothers. You know what I'm saying? If you can argue with the people you love, then,
I know, right?
You got to.
No, it's good.
Rob, man, big ups to you. I'm glad you came over to the right side of things, though. But it's
only by default, though. Only by default.
Rob, how can they in the trucker hat, Rob? You wore the trucker hat and then you turned on me.
How can they reach out to the man who's so cool with You're So Cool with Rob Medina?
Well, you can follow me on my social medias on Instagram. It's Rob_Medina0585 on Twitter, Rob Medina0585 on Facebook, Rob Medina, and on the show's social media accounts, You're So Cool with Rob Medina on Instagram and on Twitter, You're So Cool WRM.
There you go, Rob Medina. Follow my brother, Glenn. How can they level up with the Blurred Dad?
I just changed my Twitter. So now it's Glenn Levels Up on Twitter. Glenn Lawrence Laughs on your IGs, Glenn Lawrence Comedy on Facebook, and Level Up Comedy on all of those platforms. The Blurred Dad podcast, weekly, we're having discussions about fatherhood. Come on over, be part of the conversation as we reminisce and talk about, our heyday and whatnot.
There you go. And I like that. I like that new Twitter IG handle, bro.
Yeah, me too.
Sounds good. I got to work on mine too.
Yeah, change them up. Let's make it easy, fellas.
Right?
People find it easy.
I'm going to look into that. Your boy, Cool Yappy. You can follow me at Strange Since 1977 or at Temple Far East. Over on TikTok, the legend Cool Yappy. The Nerds of Color on everything for that POC representation within pop culture. Show Pal Show with that Filipinx content. And of course, here with Rob and Glenn at the NRW and at New Release Wednesday, where nerds rule the world. Until the next What If. What if we won't fight again over Black Panther? Who knows? We'll find out in that next episode of What If with your boys. We out of here, y'all.
Deuces.
Boom.
That was a fun one.
We'll be right back.